It was a dramatic scene on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives this week as the topic of gun control took center stage once again.
Not next month, not next year, but now, today.
House Democrats staged a 25-hour-long sit-in after the Republican Speaker adjourned the House until July. Now, this was after a proposal to block gun sales to terror suspects failed to get enough votes and was put on the back burner. Now, renewed calls for stricter gun control laws are resurfacing in the wake of the Orlando shooting. And while political leaders fight it out, Americans continue to deal with the reality of gun deaths in a very real way. Now, our next guest is no exception. We reached out to Stacy Feely in Traverse City, Michigan. Stacy, thank you for joining us, first of all. You took a photo of your daughter last week, and it's now gone viral. We're going to show the picture right now. Can you tell us what she was doing here and why you took this photo?
Sure. I originally thought that she was just playing like most 3-year-olds do. They get into everything, and I took a photo of her standing on top of our toilet because I thought it was silly, and I was going to send it to her dad just to say, hey, look what she's up to, now. And she instead, and when I asked her, I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm standing on top of the toilet to practice lockdown. I said, what do you mean? She said, lockdown at school. That's how we practice. You have to be very, very quiet. And at that moment, I just thought, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. And while I knew that the schools were practicing these drills and they're very informative, and they don't mention anything about guns or active shooters or anything like that, but they are preparing the young ones, for something or how to stay safe if someone that's not supposed to be in the building is in the building, and some of the things that you do. And it floored me. I was shocked to see that, it really hit home that that this is what today is becoming, or at least this is the reality that our kids are going to be dealing with.
Do you think she really understood what she was being taught?
I think she understood that. I think she understands that when someone's not supposed to be in the building, you have to be very quiet, and this is how you stay safe. I don't think she understands the scale of what it means if something actually were to happen, and that it was a life-threatening kind of event. She's too young to understand that. Her older siblings might understand that, who are also in elementary school, but I don't think the teachers also do a really good job. They don't want to scare the children or make them fearful. So I don't think that's quite comprehensible to her.
Right.
Right now, anyway.
Okay. In your Facebook post, you did say that at the moment you felt the innocence of your 3-year-old, the innocence that she possessed was gone. Why do you say that?
Well, they're so young, and the last thing you want to see is for them to be, practicing what to do in case, an active shooter is in the building. And even though she may not know the scale of the situation, it, for me, was just a real kind of remark on society today and how we're growing up, and, what we in the United States has become a new norm. And it's not a place it's not what I ever envisioned my children to have to walk through in today's world.
It is a very scary thought. What is it that you think should happen from this point on? How should kids learn about this stuff?
I do believe the schools are doing everything in their power. I think they're doing the right thing, and I think they do a really good job about not scaring the children, but truly just, protecting them in the sense as, this is an everyday drill, and they should be prepared in case something does happen. I think there's lots of things that, we can do if this is a reality and things aren't going to change. I think there's things like having more exits in the buildings, or, an exit to every classroom. And, if nothing is getting done, I think that there are certainly other things that we can do while things are changing, and maybe while some regulations hopefully will eventually get put into place. Perhaps there's other things like more exits, or smart guns, or even, a lot of this is wrapped around, people that are just mentally unstable that would go and commit an active or terrible crime like this. So it's all part of one big problem, and it involves a lot of different things like mental health, gun control, but how the politicians and what they have to walk through to get a bill passed. It's all linked and it's all connected, and that alone is very tricky when you have so many different things, but that are part of it. But I do think that we have to start really thinking outside of the box if we really want to see change.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that picture and also for sharing your story with us.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
That was Stacy Feely speaking to us from Traverse City, Michigan.